Welcome back, everybody, to our recap reviews. Right, just a good time.
Spoilers
For the latest episode of Falcon and his mates. Falcon and all of his Captain America friends running about.
Falcon and Winter Soldier, they know a guy.
They know a guy.
It's the little things coming from the movies.
That's true.
And in the prior ones, they always know a guy.
They always know a guy.
I know a guy.
But I mean, last time it's like they didn't even know themselves.
That's true.
Because they were apart.
They weren't even together.
But folks, alert the media, alert 1970s Irish hard rock band Thin Lizzy, because the boys, they're back in town.
They certainly are, Mason. And we're back in town.
That's
and
right.
by that I mean YouTube. And leave a like.
Welcome to YouTube Town.
Population lunatics.
That's right.
So,
they are. They're just below this video.
That's
all
right.
of them.
or our Justice League review, if you want to check that out.
I understand.
So just quickly up top.
Yes.
So I don't know if you saw this, but apparently this is the most viewers ever for a Disney Plus premiere.
Really?
So not for an
Okay.
episode, for a new series. Which is
So they
not really
can,
surprising.
they can calculate it based on like as soon as it's out, the first.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So we don't have specific numbers because often with streaming services, we don't really know what that means. How long do they watch for? Like how many people are watching? How many? You know what I mean? They just went, it's the biggest. We all go, all right, okay. That a very popular show.
We trust you, Mouse. All right.
Yeah, that's right. So I thought I'd do this, Mason. Just quickly touch on what we're going to talk about this
yeah.
episode. We could talk about Steve Rogers. We could talk about Wyatt Russell's new Captain America. We could talk about Bants. A lot of banter.
Sure, okay.
Yeah.
I was racking my brain. I'm like, is there a character called Bance? Do I have to look him up on Wikipedia real quick and pretend like I know who he is? Yeah, I know Bance. Yeah.
That's right. The Flag Smashers, social issues. Who knew? In a Captain America show.
Are they gonna approach them gingerly, like they're going to address them properly, and then not? Who's to say?
Let's
find out in the upcoming weeks.
And of course, the real villain of the piece, which is a popular running theme, I think, on anybody who does recaps of these, of these series. Who's the real villain?
Yeah, that's right.
Who's the real villain? There might be time codes. I don't know if I'll put them in. But look, Mason, we got this question up top I thought we'd get into. It's from Mellow D30.
Is it which Pixar character does Wyatt Russell's US agent look like? And is it the old man from Up? It is, but he takes the helmet off.
That's
He takes that. Oh, he's Captain America now. But
he certainly does, doesn't he? Yeah. I think you'll probably become US agent, right?
Yeah.
Or something else will
Which
happen
means,
with
of
that
course,
character.
that they're going to have to change the name on the merchandising.
Yeah, that's
on
right.
the boxes. First of all, you definitely know. Look, they're discussing important social issues in this show, but obviously this is not set in the real world because there's a stadium full of people cheering for a new Captain America, and not one person in the crowd going, "Boo!
Yeah.
He's not as good as the other one."
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
like new things.
Yeah, that other one was cool. He ran away for 2 years, and that was cool.
That's right.
Yeah, that's a good point. But speaking of Steve Rogers, from Mellow D30 said, is Steve Rogers dead? Right, I got an answer to that because of Bork and Winter Bork on Twitter.
That great comedic duo.
That's right. One's just in a big furry coat.
Yeah.
So it says,
God, it's so cold here, Winter Bork. Not as far as I'm concerned, Bork.
so white shirt,
etc.
Yes. So in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Captain America's the museum, one of the stands describes how not stands. Yeah, how
It's not a series of mechanical talking Stanleys.
No, well, that was all like stands, like big fan stands. You know what I mean? Steve decided to retire after the Vanished returned. That makes more sense than faking his death and explains why the army kid thought he was on the moon.
Okay.
So yeah, it seems like in this universe, he's not dead. He's just somewhere else, which again, like, very much leaves the door open to maybe a cameo.
Yeah, so the general public thinks he's retired, which he has.
Yes, that's right. Exactly. Because he's 1,000,000 years old or 120 odd or whatever. But let's talk about the new Captain America, Wyatt Russell, who I also found out this week. He auditioned for Captain America initially.
Did he get it?
Yeah, he got it.
Wow.
And they said, but you're going to have to wait 11 years to play a different variation of the character.
Cool.
And he went, I'll just sit tight. I'll do some Black Mirror. I'll do another World War II movie with zombies and whatever.
My dad will remain famous, he said.
That's what he said.
And my mum.
That's right. Both of them will remain famous. But there is some shades of the original Captain America. They jazzed up that Captain America USO theme tune.
Yep.
Gave it a jazzy reboot.
You got some dancing girls, etc. Yeah.
So it seems like, he is pretty much taking on the role that the original Captain America did. He's
Yeah.
he's just a pawn. He goes and shakes hands and kisses babies.
And he seems, because we always go into this thinking what kind of man. Like, he seems like a decent guy.
Yes.
For now.
Yeah, that's right.
But he seems like, he's not just a pretty face, he is an accomplished soldier.
Yeah.
So we know that much. We know that he's got the skills, and he does seem to be closer to what Captain America is in the comics. Like, he's peak human ability.
Yeah, okay,
like he's as strong and fast and durable as you can be without being superhuman.
Which is not enough, it seems.
No, which is like how Captain America is in the comic books, whereas in the movies he is more of a superhuman.
Yeah, he can jump out of a plane without a parachute, which again we saw
Yeah.
in this episode also.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But what I think is interesting about the time that he's in now, there's kind of more nuance to the era that he's in. You know what I mean? Because back then it was just like storm the beach and punch a Nazi, but now it's like everything's kind of grey and horrible. You know what I mean? Are we in a military-industrial complex?
Don't punch that Nazi. They might have hurt feelings.
That's right, exactly. Yeah, but there's a few little Easter eggs.
They'll edit that video to make it look like you punched first.
That's right.
But you were punching back, Captain America.
So he's from Custer's Grove, Georgia, which is like he is in the comics. He's like you mentioned, he's pretty fit, but not powered, which is some versions of Captain America. It varies on comic to comic, but he's supposed to be peak physical fitness.
He's got his own sidekick.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
In the form of Battlestar, who was in the comics is sort of like he was a Bucky for a while.
Yes, that's right, exactly. So that's Lamar Hoskins, who he's his little sidekick. So that
he probably doesn't think of himself as a little sidekick.
He's a bit smaller though, isn't he?
Yeah.
So
what I enjoy is they've set up. We'll get to whatever you're going to say, James. But what I
we don't have to.
No, good. I was hoping you'd say that. I'm going to talk about my favorite sandwich fillings. No, what I was going to say is they've set up really well. They've taken this right out of the buddy cop playbook. They've got the buddy cop team who don't really get along so well in Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then they've decided to add the opposing buddy cop team,
That's right.
who seem to get along a lot better, and maybe when they're not on screen, they're doing a lot better than you guys, and maybe you should worry about it.
You're not wrong.
And you can bicker about it too.
Yeah, absolutely. It's got that kind of other guys vibe. Do you know what I mean? Where there's some other guys doing better things out there. Also, he carries a handgun, which we saw the original Steve Rogers did.
Very cool.
And also he jumped on multiple grenades.
That's right.
So he's even
he said
better.
that maybe he's a story topper. Maybe you heard that Captain America jumped on a grenade that time, and he's like, well, four grenades?
Four grenades. Yeah. I got a message here from Gus Brown who says, ironically, the best action this episode came from was Walker tossing around the shield. He mostly sucks at hand-to-hand, it seems, but he sure knows how to use that shield, which is true. Yeah. We see a bit of, he's got that going on, doesn't he?
He's got those skills. He saves Battlestar from being pulped on a highway,
I do wonder, though, whether him not being super soldiered is going to lead to him perhaps making some poor decisions.
Or which might include being super soldiered.
Yeah, exactly. So, he's also got some fucking nerve, this bloke, and I'll tell you why. Because he's like, I never met Captain America, but he's like a brother to me. And
right.
Bucky's just like, oh, this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no good. But still,
I tried to kill Steve so many times. He's like a brother to me.
I think it's interesting that they went nuanced with this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you kind of don't really know what direction it's necessarily going to go. But, there's some...
Leaves room for us theorizing madly.
And that's all we want to do. Let's talk about the big three, though. Androids, aliens, and wizards, which it normally is in the universe. What do you think about saying wizards aren't real, but sorcerers are real? It's much of a muchness, isn't it?
James, it's Bants. It's all Bants.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? You're right, yeah. Yeah. What I liked about this, it kind of emphasized that Bucky is super strong. Like you kind of you get a little bit of a sense of it in the movies because he can go toe to toe, but he'll tear like a leather sleeve clean off his jacket.
He'll survive leaping from a plane. Yeah, they're doing a better job here, I think, of
he does that run. He does a quick run
of establishing what they can do early on. And what also I think is interesting is that neither of them carry a gun anymore.
Yeah, Falcon used to have the two.
Yeah. But now Falcon's arsenal is exclusively inside Red Wing.
Yes.
It's Red Wing, I learned this week.
Oh, okay. How many messages did you get?
None.
Okay.
I did it on my own. But so
I just meant people complaining.
Oh, tons. So we sort of established that if you destroy Red Wing, he's weaponless now. And I guess Bucky can't carry a gun because of all the crimes he did.
That's probably correct, yeah. But he's allowed to have a mechanical arm, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough. What if they gave him a regular arm? You know what I mean? A regular strength
Like a fleshy arm?
Yeah, like a fleshy
Just
arm.
staple it on. It doesn't work. It just flaps in the breeze. He leaps on the top of that truck and he's like, "You'll pay for this crime." And
Slap, 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 slap.
No time for a date this week either.
Yeah, absolutely. No time. I thought there was an interesting, he called him White Panther because of his time in Wakanda. And I'd forgotten this, but yeah, Bucky was called the White Wolf.
Yeah.
Who, I think I did maybe mention this in an Easter egg video when Infinity War came out. But yeah, there was a character called White Wolf who is white and parents crashed their plane near Wakanda and he was raised there. And he experienced racism, but they flipped it, Mason.
Huh.
They flipped it.
Whoa.
Social issues. But yeah, so what I like about what they're doing here is they're talking about race in relation to not only Sam Wilson, but other people in this universe. And I know some people get like a bit like, don't bring politics into comic books or whatever, but Captain America's always been about politics. Sometimes he's a werewolf, but when that gets done, he's back to politics.
That's exactly right, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what he said. He dusted all the fur off and he's like, well, back to politics. That's a panel from the comic book. So you know it's legit.
Yeah, so I think it's interesting that we're getting a little bit of that with Sam, and I think we'll probably get more as the story goes on. But then looking back to Isaiah Bradley as well, who I think we mentioned in one of the speculations videos we did.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
So clearly in this version of the universe, various organizations attempted to continue the super soldier program after Captain America disappeared.
Yes.
And they evidently had some success with Isaiah Bradley, who became a super soldier in, I guess, the late 40s or 50s, and he participates in the Korean War and clashes with Bucky at that time and ripped his arm off, apparently.
Successfully.
Yeah, very successfully, yeah.
I wonder if he got a shield or what they kind of dropped him in with. I wonder if we're going to get a flashback to that.
Oh, maybe. Hope so. That would be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And also it leads into, because he has a younger relative who I think maybe is his grandson.
Yes, yeah.
Who might become Patriot.
Yeah, that's right.
Because he might have inherited some altered DNA and therefore has some super soldier abilities.
So that is something that happens in the comics or has happened that can be passed down, but it gets filtered out, I think, eventually, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like a strainer.
Yeah, like a strainer.
Like a strainer, okay, yeah. So, no, I thought that was really interesting, and it also parallels, like, horrific experiments done to African Americans around the time as well. And, look, again, I know some people will complain about politics and whatever, but I think it adds, like, a layer to this story.
Yeah, and on a smaller level, obviously, that when Sam and Bucky have the argument in the street, the police roll up and they're clearly going to arrest Falcon before they realize he's a superhero.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. And then they flipped it.
They flipped it.
And
Bucky got arrested.
He got arrested.
Yeah.
For crimes, though.
For all his crimes, yeah.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, so they mentioned just briefly the GRC, the Global Reparation Council, who are kind of dealing with the fallout of the blip or the unvanishing.
These bean counters.
Oh, no, I'm sick of these guys. That's what they.
Quite frankly, I'm pretty excited by the idea of like no borders, one people, whatever the slogan is. I can't remember the slogan of the Flag Smashers, but it sounded pretty good to me.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So what do you think?
One world, no borders, fun for everyone.
Fun for everyone.
Yeah.
So what do you think is going on with the Flag Smashers then? Because it seems like, and I hate to say this because, speculations and whatnot, but there might be a greater villain they mentioned somebody specifically.
Well, they seem to be they seem to be both pursuing their agenda of the one world, no borders, whatever it is. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah.
But also they appear to be on the run from Power Broker.
Yes.
And in the comic books, and maybe this is how it all comes together, Power Broker is an organization that has various technological means of giving people superpowers.
And is that a guy also?
Well, no, not really. So it's a few people, one of whom is Carl Malice. He's the mad scientist who created it, but he is in season 2 of Jessica Jones. He's the person responsible for giving Jessica and her mother superpowers.
I forgot that.
So does that mean he will make an appearance in this, or do you think it's somebody else? It's probably somebody else because they don't really want to talk about the Netflix Marvel stuff anymore.
It's entirely possible. Though, we've seen that very occasionally fold in the TV stuff because we got TV Jarvis in Endgame.
But anyway,
But it could be another person, like you said.
Yeah, they seem to be very intent on the Flag Smashers seem very intent on not interacting with the Power Broker anymore.
Yeah.
Which suggests that in the comic books, generally Power Broker gives people powers and then is like, you got to keep taking these drugs, otherwise you'll lose your powers. Not actually true, but they want to keep him on the hook so they can do stuff for him.
Yeah.
So perhaps they were given the powers so they could do some work for Power Broker, and now they've just taken off, and he wants his investment back.
That guy.
Or her.
Yeah. Do you think it could be Zemo, or do you think it's a different person? Do you think Zemo's, because we could get a brief glimpse of it.
I see, like maybe he's organising it behind the scenes.
Or he's maybe they get him on side for a bit.
Yeah, I think
Or they think he is.
if we're saying Power Broker is one guy in this, and I think maybe he is, I think he and Zemo are probably separate people, and they're going to be like separate antagonists. I also wonder, because again, in the comic books, it's Power Broker who gives both John Walker and Battlestar their superpowers. Maybe at a certain point in this, like it could go along the lines of, they get defeated and they want an edge, so they go to this Power Broker to get increased superpowers. Maybe that drives them a bit mad.
And the little one's like, I don't know about this, and the big one's like, well, Kurt Russell's son.
That's right. Yeah.
We'll be all right. Yeah, because that's interesting, because I think there's a chance here that the new Captain America takes this on, maybe because they steal the shield off him.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
because they've talked about it. They're like, maybe we should just take it from this fucking guy. We probably could, but yeah, when you take the super soldier serum, and we've seen this in the few people that have had it, it amplifies what you have.
Yeah.
So Steve Rogers becomes, like, he's good and he becomes great. Red Skull is a little bit evil, then he becomes even more evil.
Yeah, yeah.
So whatever kind of twisted idea or, of responsibility that John Walker has, then maybe that morphs into something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could become like a twisted version of Captain America. Like Nuke from Jessica Jones.
Maybe.
I remember Netflix also, Mason. Yeah.
I thought I was the only one.
No, Mason. I've just got another note here that I do want to talk about. Bucky said he read The Hobbit in 1937, so I did some research.
When did it come out?
Came out in September of 1937, right? But only 1,500 copies were made, and they sold out by December, which means he was pretty on that release when it came out, you know what I mean? Just a big old Tolkien nerd.
Unless, of course, Bucky also has access to Wikipedia, and he's just lying.
Yeah, he's probably just lying.
Maybe he's just like a guy who's like, yeah, I was there for that. I was there for that gig. Yeah, no, I read that book. Yeah, no, I saw that movie in theaters. Yeah, no, that's right.
He could have been, yeah. Maybe he did just see it in theaters. Maybe he just watched the Hobbit trilogy. Yeah. They could have said 38. I'm just saying, it's just world breaking. That maybe in this universe they printed slightly more copies of the Hobbit. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's true. Maybe that's the major difference.
It's not the superpowers, it's more...
No, it's that more people read the book and then they just decided to become superheroes.
Great point. I've got a couple more letters here from people who have left comments, Mason, if you don't mind.
So they're not actual letters?
No.
People haven't physically sent you letters?
No, don't ever do that. Good God. Whenever I open my mailbox, something in there, I'm like, this isn't going to be something I want. But
well, maybe the fans could change that, James.
That's true. This is from the Nobod3. It says, so with the introduction of the Bradleys, we're definitely getting Young Avengers at some point. Do you think we're gonna? Do you think that's gonna cap off this phase? I think entirely possible.
Yeah, I mean,
yes.
We're getting a Ms. Marvel. She could very easily be on the Young Avengers. We're getting Patriot. We're getting
others.
Maybe the kid from Iron Man 3.
That's right, kid from Iron Man 3.
But failing that, Ironheart, much better choice.
That's
Way
right.
better choice.
Who's also getting a television series, so that would make sense, yeah. And another one here from Hambone who says, no one's pointed out the Winter Soldier's name is Jimmy Barnes. He's a working class man. Never made that connection.
Oh, my God.
How incredible is that?
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Folks, for people who don't know, there's an Australian musician called Jimmy Barnes.
Legend. So there you go. Anything else you want to add, or should we call it a day?
He was in a band called Cold Chisel.
Yes, but he's done a lot of solo work also.
That's true.
Yeah. Still doing it. Still out there. Incredible vocalist. All right, Mason, we didn't get any Emily Van Camp. I had some notes on her that I might say for next week.
Yeah, Sharon Carter was mentioned, but no appearances.
Yeah, so we'll see what direction that's going to go. But look, if people do have any comments, questions, theories,
complaints,
or whatever, mate, just send them to my house. I love it. I love it every day. That'd be love to hear from people on Twitter at Mr. Sunday Movies.
At Wikipedia Brown, yeah.
And coming up on our podcast, The Weekly Planet, which comes out on Monday, though you can get it early at bigsandwich.co a day early. Just like this, you can get the audio version of this early if you sign up, plus bonus podcasts, audio commentaries and all that. We're going to, where am I going with this? We're going to be talking about Invincible.
The new animated series,
That's right. And there's a new Suicide Squad trailer as well, which we're going to delve into.
Assuming there's anything to it. We haven't seen it yet.
That's right, exactly, at the time of recording. But I'm probably making a video and that's going up as well at some point. But it might not, because I just might not do it. You know what I mean?
You're a busy man.
I just might not do it.
Whoa.
That's it. I don't have anything. That's it, isn't it?
That's the whole thing. That's the whole episode.
Cool. Thank you again to Collings for editing this, because he does a fantastic job with a super speedy turnaround.
Primo job.
And I emphasised this time around that do a much shittier job. And let's see if he did. I hope he did, but we'll find out. Okay, thanks everyone.
Grab that gem, you guys. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye.